This video is about multiplying polynomials. The good thing about multiplying polynomials is you use the same strategy every single time, and it's nothing more than the distributive property. So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this linear binomial times this quadratic trinomial. And the idea is you're just going to distribute every term that's on the left, so this 8x, we're going to distribute that to every term on the right, giving us these three arrows, which I'll color code in blue. And also, we're going to distribute the 7, this constant term, to everything on the right as well. So, we're going to end up at our first step with 6 terms, because you see 6 arrows. So, I'll continue with the color coding. Let's follow the blue arrows at top. We have 8x times 6x squared. My hint to you here is to deal with the numbers and the variables separately. 8 times 6 is 48. X times x squared, we add the exponents, and the exponent is understood to be 1 on 8x. 1 plus 2 is 3, so we have x cubed for 48x cubed. That's the first arrow. Now follow the second arrow. 8 times 5 is 40. X times x is x squared. Now follow the third arrow. 8 times 8 is 64. And we have this x, there are no x terms here, so it's just 64x. That's the blue arrows. And now let's follow the red arrows, doing exactly the same thing. So, 7 times 6 is 42, and this is x squared. And then 7 times 5 is 35, that's x. And then 7 times 8 is 56. So we had 6 arrows, and now you see we have 6 terms. Your next step is to combine the like terms. So we have 40x squared, and we also have 42x squared. Since the variable part's the same, we can combine those. Also, we have 64x, and we have 35x. Those are like terms, so we can combine those. So my final answer will be, we start with 48x cubed. There are no other cube terms. Now we combine the square terms, 40x squared plus 42x squared. Well, 40 plus 42 is 82. And those are x squared terms. Then we have 64 plus 35. I think that's 99. And these are x to the first power terms. And then we have our constant term, 56, at the end. So that really is how you multiply polynomials every single time. Use the distributive property, multiply everything on the left to everything on the right, and then combine like terms. Now, let's see an example that has more than one variable. So if you notice, this example has 2 variables. We also have some subtraction, so we'll have to pay attention to the minus signs. But it's still exactly the same thing. We're going to distribute everything that is on the left. So 8x, we're going to distribute that here, here, and here. And we'll distribute negative 2y here, here, and here. Now, my hint is even more important in a problem with 2 variables. Just deal with the coefficients, the numbers, and the variables separately. So let's follow the top blue arrows. 8 times 6 is 48. X times x squared is x cubed. I think that was in the last problem as well. Now for the second arrow, 8 times 8 is 64. X times x is x squared. And we also have this y variable. And now for the third arrow, 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. X, well, there are no x's, so that stays x. There are no y's, we have a y squared. So we're just multiplying everything together. And that's the three blue arrows leading to these three terms in blue. So now let's do the reddish arrows. -2 times 6 is -12. Y times, well, there are no y's. We'll leave that there. I'm going to leave a space because I like this in alphabetical order. And we also have x squared. Now follow the second red arrow. -2 times 8 is -16. Y times y is y squared. I'm again going to leave a blank because I like this in alphabetical order. So there's my x. And now for the last arrow, -2 times -4 is +8. Y times y squared is y cubed. So we had 6 arrows, we have 6 terms. Now our job is to combine the like terms. Now be careful with two variables. Some of these terms look alike. For example, 64x squared y, 32xy squared. These are not like terms. The variable portion has to be exactly the same. So 64x squared y is like -12x squared y. In the same way, -32xy squared is like -16xy squared. So I've underlined these two pairs of like terms. I just have to combine them. So my final answer is 48x cubed. And then let's see, we have 64 minus 12. 64x squared y minus 12x squared y. Well, 64 minus 12, what's that? 52. So we have plus 52x squared y. And now the xy squared terms, these underlined with 2 black marks. We have -32 and -16. Well, -32 minus 16 is -48, and those are xy squared terms. And then we have 8y cubed at the end. So that's how you multiply polynomials. Distribute everything on the left to everything on the right. However many arrows you have, you're going to have that many terms at your first step. Then you combine like terms. Remember, the variable part has to be exactly the same, and when you combine like terms, that variable part does not change. Notice x squared y is still x squared y. And that's all you need to know about how to multiply polynomials. Hope that helped.